Yeah.
Well, alrighty. Yes, we are live according to the program.
Yes. Zero. Yeah.
Hello, hello, good evening, good afternoon, good night. We are the Melanated Council.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Dun, 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 dun. And as always, we stream every other Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. I think this is the first time we are streaming since the time skip. No, I think we streamed the week of. I don't know, but I don't know. As always, the time skip gets everything confusing.
Yeah.
But what isn't confusing is that you all can like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and enjoy the show. So tonight's episode, so like this month, we were pretty much talking about, kind of anime, nerd culture, and just the influence of um, what like anime and nerd culture, like geek culture, video games, things like that, have actually like done for our society, for our generation, especially like millennials and Gen Z. And yeah, so tonight we'll be talking about the influence of gaming. Hey, hey, how's it going? How's it going,
Gil,
Gil?
what is going on?
Good evening. Good evening. Let me. Sorry, we're a little late. Just having some little technical difficulties, but when aren't difficulties technical? You'll all learn that soon. Every difficulty is technical.
Fun.
Yes. Yeah. But Toby, how have you been?
Living. I've been fine.
That's what's up.
I. Oh well, yeah. I did travel. That was fun.
Oh, where you
Um.
travel to? I don't know.
It was fun. It was a lot though. I went to Boston first for the St. Patrick's Day event.
Okay.
Black Irish, which is like a black bar crawl and day party, but I didn't end up making it because I like flew in really late Friday night, and by the time I got myself settled Saturday, it just took a while, and I could have made it to the day party pretty close to the beginning, but I foolishly tried to find parking, which took like legitimately almost two. It was that how long? I felt like I was. I know that it was around five something, 5:30 almost, when I was decided to try to find parking, and then I didn't get to the line of the place until like seven, a little right after seven, which means I would have parked like almost around seven. The point is that was not. I could have done things differently, but I still enjoyed. Um, I didn't make it quite to that event, but I was able to do some stuff afterwards, see some people. That was Friday, I guess 2 Fridays ago. Up until last week, Tuesday is when I flew back to Maryland, and then I flew out Wednesday. It would have been originally I should have flown Wednesday, but I didn't fly out of Boston when I would have needed to make it to Maryland, and I didn't want to fly straight to Atlanta. I was going to, but I overpacked. So Atlanta was for a conference, NESB, Black Engineers, all that stuff. They had their 50th convention. Though to be honest, it was a 50th convention, but it wasn't technically 50 years because they were founded in like 1975. But the way that it works, it's kind of inclusive years. And so in terms of the actual convention number, it was this was the 50th national convention. So it was supposed to be a big thing. It was big-ish, but I missed a good amount of it. It started Wednesday. I got there Thursday evening. Um, and then Friday, I felt like I was just so tired, and I didn't really make it to anything until like early evening. So Friday, Saturday were kind of like Friday was kind of catch up. Saturday was the real day. Thursday evening, I did go out though, and I saw friends. So that night that I landed, But it was just kind of a lot back. It wasn't as well planned as I could have. A lot of stuff I was kind of pulling together while I was there, both in Boston and in Atlanta. But it was a good time enough for what it was. Um, I just kind of rolled with it, and it was the first time I traveled since, well, really the first time I've flown in a while because I haven't traveled seriously. Even when I came to Maryland, I drove when I came last year, May, which has almost been a year since I've been in Maryland, and I never flew since then. I was supposed to for a cousin's graduation and in Boston, but it didn't end up happening because um, I ended up getting a random fever that week. But the point is, so I haven't flown at all for almost a year. So it was kind of fun, kind of annoying. Um, and I just got back Sunday night or evening. So yeah, it was like 8 p.m. The flight got delayed for like over an hour, but I landed around 8 p.m. Sunday. And then actually ended up going out with some friends in DC in Northern Virginia, um, kind of unexpectedly. So um, it was cool. Um, and yeah, so I guess yeah, it was literally been like 2 weeks because I was in Boston last week Tuesday, um, and then the week before that, yeah, the time change thing did happen right before we did our last stream because that was my birth weekend that me and my brother celebrated a joint birthday dinner was on the 10th, and the time skip or whatever you call it happened on the 9th, the time forward. Um, Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the day. So it was all right. It was what it was. It was a weekend. It was a week, and
Yeah.
work stuff is
I didn't
work.
realize I
So
was on mute, sir. I asked, do you work from home?
um oh haha. So I for now it's actually funny because I was about to say like work stuff is working. Like I am starting to get to the place where I can actually get work, but because of government onboarding, it just takes a while for the clearance. Not clearance. That in itself is fine. I had a
Mm-hmm.
clearance from my old job, but when it comes to actual government access, getting government equipment, government access, even if it's like uncleared work, even if it's just public trust, you still kind of have to go through just the regular processing,
Mm-hmm.
bureaucratic, maybe not even so much a background check that's an issue, but just fill out paperwork, they process it. So long story short, right now I've been basically, yeah, I don't because I don't have real assignments. I can do whatever. I can work anywhere. I actually worked out of the Massachusetts office they had Monday and Tuesday, but Sunday or sorry, going basically when I have actual access, I would be working in an office near DC or like a client site. It's not even really an office. We have an office, so my home office I've been to day one. I went there and onboarded, and sometimes there might be things that I can go in for, but it's very rare. Like I've only gone in mostly to different offices when I want to for my own like fun, I guess. Like if I'm going to social events or like all hands events.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so for the most part, I've just been kind of like like just kind of like not squalling, but I don't know. I just like lying here, and I'm like not really that engaged. But once I get the access to stuff, then I think I can actually like start project work or at least understand what I'm doing, and then it'll be based on the team that I'm working with how often we would go into whatever the client site is. Um, so it'll be hybrid. Just because of my role. Other people might have much more remote. Some people literally don't even come in except like once a quarter, maybe once a month. Some kind of crazy schedules.
Mm-hmm.
But people who are more client engaged, you're going to come in to the client side however often you need to work with them, whether you're physically working with the client or more likely in my case is more so I think you need access to certain systems and you have to be on the client side to access said systems. So, but I heard that my team is going to be a little bit less touching, like a little bit less hands on. Um, some you might be 3 or 4 times a week. 2 or 3 seems normal, but I think my team might even be 1 or 2 times. But again, it depends on how often the team needs to move. So needs to meet. So um, not sure yet. Um, hopefully things will get sorted out this week in terms of access, and I'll know what my schedule looks like more because this is my 6th week in the job. But my manager told me that because he started March of last year, so he was like 11 months in when when I onboarded, and he said that it took him 3 months. Like it was 3 months before he even got his like government badge and access card. So I was like, well, I guess it's not going to be until May, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't know because I just got approval like from an email today. Yesterday, I guess I got an approval saying that I can submit an application. There's so many steps. I've already done multiple things, but this was like I can directly submit an application, which got approved the day later. So like, oh snap, okay. So it seemed more of a formality, but now that that's approved, that's when I think I can schedule an appointment, um, which will be happening this week. So now I'm like, okay, does that mean I can literally pick this thing up? Am I now going to be in the system and good, or are there more steps? I don't know. It's actually kind of quick because I heard again it could be 3 months, and so 6 weeks seems very fast, especially given that it seemed like they were strapped for resources. Like government seems to be just like underfunded. Even when it comes to this, they seem to not have as much staff to process paperwork based on what I heard some other people saying like last month. So I don't know. We'll see what the schedule looks like, but that's a little bit of a digression. It
Okay.
was fun while it lasted, I guess, to kind of just do nothing. And I was hoping to like spend more time actually doing real things and trainings to get myself together, but I've been kind of taking advantage of the time and just like low key catching up on some shows and just like but I have done like actual work related things,
Mm-hmm.
like things with benefits and other stuff. But
Yeah, like the things that you can do.
the things that I can do, right? And like again, going to like different mixers and stuff. So there definitely were some days, like the week before when I traveled, I actually went to a mixer. Then like the week before, I went to something. There's a Black History Month event end of February, so I've kind of like made sure to at least have certain touch points for myself. Um, but I'm just trying to do, I guess, what I can on that front before I get plunged into like a lot of like work related stuff. Um,
Mm-hmm. No, I hear you. No, but all right, no, that's what's up though. Yeah,
yes.
like allegedly catching up on allegedly allegedly
What's up?
catching up.
Hey, what's going on, Chad?
Yeah.
I was allegedly catching up. Oh yeah, what is this allegedly? Um, no one heard that. In case my employers are watching, I'm just on the phone. CIA.
I mean, there's 12 people viewing, so it's possible that some of them are your coworkers.
Oh snap! 12 is a lot, and I haven't even
I
shared this
know.
link yet.
Like I shared it in the, well, I shared it on the Melanated Council Twitter group, but it's only seen by one person.
The Twitter group. Oh snap! I
Yeah,
really haven't been
I know.
here.
Same here. I was like, let me just throw it in there because
Nice.
they don't be talking. Um, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where. Ah, here we go. Here's her Twitter. Share it there. Boom, 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 boom. Come join us at you, wherever the heck you are. Did you get rid of your Twitter? No, there you are. Why are you all the way down there?
Wait, is this me? I don't know if it's just because I use this thing so infrequently that it's now like
I don't know.
on the
Like,
algorithm showing me like at the bottom of the tag list or whatever. That's kind of funny. Um,
yeah, because I'm like typing in and it's like you're like number 7. It's like you both follow each other. It's like you don't think I'm trying to tag this person? Oh my god! Like,
that's kind of wild, actually. Um,
no, Twitter sucks so bad. It
yeah,
sucks.
Twitter.
Twitter's gotten so bad. Like it's
I use it slightly sometimes, not exactly. I don't even know at this point.
mm-hmm.
Um,
6 viewing, 3 likes. Wow, lurkers get to it. Yeah. Hey, hell,
okay.
yeah. Now we got like 19 views. That's a
I was gonna
lot.
say yeah, it's going up. Okay, okay,
Okay.
Twitter.
Okay, let's
All right,
see.
people. Let's go. Let's do it. People, let's talk about some video games. Hey, well, first we just
Yeah.
catch up. But yes, people out here for a
Yeah.
very exciting, fun, whimsical topic. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, this is kind of a good topic for me because, like, for my, I guess, catching up portion, I've been playing video games a little bit more now.
Nice.
Because, depression is one hell of a drug. So it really does just take away things that you enjoyed. And,
Yeah.
especially when I'm feeling like I always got to be like grinding, like doing stuff, working towards things. It is important to just really move, like push your brain to just something else. Insert Batman Beyond meme here. But
Ender.
yay! Good to see you. It's been a while. It's
So I'm
good to,
curious what that Batman Beyond meme is because Lord knows I didn't watch
yeah.
the show and I'm not sure if I recognize.
Yeah, if it's like something about yeah. Explain to us the Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, no, I've been on top, like I took Friday and Monday off from work. So
Oh.
like today I just kept thinking it was Monday when it was not. But and I watched my brother and sister-in-law's dog, and the dog is like such a massive clinger, so I couldn't really, I was just like, but it was kind of nice to sort of be forced to just chill.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like we were just like me and the dog were just watching a bunch of TV, and I got this game called It Takes Two, and you have to be like, it's like a two-player game, and it has to be two people. And so I've been playing with my boyfriend a lot. It's been it's a lot of fun because you have to you know like solve puzzles together,
Mm.
and sometimes the puzzles aren't really like that obvious. It's not super unobvious, but there are things where it's like sometimes like we would get abilities, but it would be like slightly different, and but
Yeah.
it would help with each other. So it'd be like, okay, he has to go first and do his thing, so I can go in after and do my thing, or like, oh, I can't do this thing, so I got to go first, so then he helps me to get across and like solve the puzzles. He's talking about all the oppressed people rising up, including the most oppressed gamers. That's a metaphor, man. But yeah, no, but it's been a really fun. It's been a really fun game, and also I've been like, playing games by myself, which have been nice too. Because I love the Nintendo Switch. I think I've mentioned this on the stream before. Because like I kept equating the TV to playing video games, but I'd be lazy and just want to watch TV because usually I eat in front of the TV and I can't really eat and play video games at the same time. So, I'd eat and like be watching a show, and then I'd just get into the show and not really want to like turn it off to turn on a game. So it's nice to just have the Switch like in handheld mode and just be on my couch playing a game while like the TV's on in the background doing something. So it's just been like really nice. Also, I love it that it's a screen where I can't text anybody, I can't go on social media, I can't, it's just like I don't know if you could just like browse online. I think so. I know on the Wii you could browse online through the Opera browser, but I don't know if the Switch has a browser. Actually, I never really cared to look, but I don't really want to because no, like I got my cell phone, laptop, and a million other things to browse online.
I didn't know the Wii was the Opera. I mean, I think I vaguely remember that there was some kind of browsing that capability on the Wii, which is
Hmm.
like, oh God, I'm trying to even throw back.
Yeah,
Like,
it was the Opera browser. It was Opera.
that's not the first time I heard. Because I remember hearing about Opera in high school, along with like Firefox and all of those. But that would have been like 2009 to 12, and I got the Wii in 2008. That was eighth grade. So like, wow, I don't even remember that connection of like that was Opera, and I must have known about it before I knew about it years later.
Hmm.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Like, I think the Wii was the first time I ever even heard of the Opera browser.
Yeah, man.
It was such. I would go. I think I would go to like Crunchyroll.com or like some sort of anime site and watch. Because I was watching. I never know how to pronounce this. Like Ouran High School Host Club. Ouran. Ouran. It's supposed to be like a reverse harem where the girl gets all the guys.
Hmm.
It's a fun show. It's a really fun anime though. Like,
It's interesting. Look that up.
ooh, Grill showing his age.
Let's go in 08. That was my sister's. Well, my older sister graduated 09. No, that's not true. 07. Yeah, that's about right. 07. Then 09 was my other sister. And then 11 was my brother. And 12 was me. Where's
The
the
other day,
opera?
I came across the deals Amazon had gotten stock of the DS Opera. What again? Amazon had got like you could go on Amazon on the Nintendo DS's Opera browser. So there's a DS Opera something else. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm not sure. I'm trying to read that too. Because Amazon had gotten stock of the DS Opera. And the DS, I know they must have had their own browser. I didn't really play that. I always wanted the DS Lite so badly in 2007, or like
mm,
basically middle school when I moved to this part of Maryland where well, not where I live now because I live with my brother, but where I basically went to most of middle school and like high school. That town in Southern Maryland. When I moved there, I remember wanting the DS Lite. Diamond and Pearl coming out. I think it was like April 17th. Like I just remember like it was April something of 2020. Gosh, 20. Yikes. So far ago, we don't even say 20. It was 2007. No one says 2007, but 2007. Um, and I remember I was like, I want the DS Lite, but there was just no way. I wanted like a red and black. That was the exact color. I wanted the black and red DS Lite. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna get Diamond and Pearl because I enjoyed Ruby. Played Emerald a little, but mostly the game me and my brother played was Ruby. That was the one we actually played all the way and beat. So I remember wanting the DS Lite so badly, but I never got it, and so I just never got past that generation, and I never got to experience the handheld like advanced in technology. Like now, I don't even know because they have the Switch, they had the Wii U, and I remember there was a 3DS version of like Smash, and I'm sure that for sure had to have internet. Like internet's much more
oh, okay, yeah,
pervasive because there was a point where like you had to use these freaking like wireless little thingies to put it into your Game Boy Advance or whatever to like play Pokemon with each other, or gosh, you had the physical wires connecting.
yeah. I
I'm
remember the
like, man,
physical wires.
internet's like a real thing. Like you could actually do real internet things. Like you can actually connect your system to Wi-Fi instead of using these plugins and like connecting to each other. I'm like, whoa, there must be systems where you just connect to Wi-Fi. I mean, I know obviously the Wii, you could do that. Like that was a whole thing. I remember there was a point where we didn't really even have Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi wasn't as pervasive of a technology, but like you would try to connect to the same network, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's like, oh, of course, yeah, of course you connect. Like by the time my brother got like a PS3, which was my senior year. No, yeah, he was in community college at the time, so he got like a PS3, and that was normal to like connect to internet for PlayStation Network. But I never really did that with the Wii because we didn't get a Wii U or a Switch in our house. So when it came to Nintendo, which was our main console, that's what we grew up with. I never
Right.
really got to see the internet's influence on these systems, but I saw it very clearly with the PS3 and then after the PS3, I mean, we never really bought those systems, but I knew the PS4, PS5, and of course, if you have the Xbox, anything, Xbox One, even the Xbox 360, you're playing Halo in like the lobby. I mean, very obviously, you have internet. Oh, so I did. Okay, so that's not completely true. I do remember playing Smash Bros. A little bit, where you could do those like online. I forget what it's called, where you can like play. I guess yeah, play it online with randoms. Very laggy, very buggy, and not great.
Mm.
um, but I do remember that. So I guess there was a little bit of that, but I wasn't really playing Nintendo games for the most part. Oh, and then the Virtual Console, yes, we did do downloads. So I did have some internet connection, of course. I'm not, okay, so I can't pretend that I wasn't, but it was so different. Like it's just different thinking about um internet being like its own sort of thing and its own application, and I don't know, like besides just connecting every now and then for Virtual Console or for like whatever fake multiplayer thing we were doing. But anyway, all of that because I saw the thing about the DS and the Amazon app, I guess that was there,
Yeah,
or
no, like
Amazon.
I so Gil was saying, like Gil and Ender were saying that you needed a physical cartridge to use the Opera browser for the DS.
Interesting.
And I'm like, are you serious? That's like how AOL America Online would send out this discs to go
Oh
online and get like 1,000 free hours. Is that like the case? Was
gosh, that was a
like,
you lose
uh,
online support. Whoa, why are they losing online support? You just always have Wi-Fi, from what I understand. Interesting. Even the basic DS. Whoa. Okay, but that's interesting.
yeah, like that's so crazy that that's how you had to get on the
And we're
internet.
all
But some of the best online. Yeah, no, the Wii. Yeah,
God.
the Wii was like very solid. Like, because I remember that Nintendo, like, I think Nintendo was kind of having some issues because it was getting pretty dwarfed by or like overshadowed by like the Xbox and the PS2 because that was GameCube's generation. So the GameCube was having a rough time because like it had smaller discs, and whereas like the Xbox and the PS2 had regular size discs and you can play DVDs on a PS2. So like you could actually use your PS2 for other things. I think you could also play CDs on your PS2 because I know you could play CDs on your PS1, which was like, pretty revolutionary at the time. So I think for both Xbox and PS2, you could play DVDs, so you could watch movies on it. So it became a versatile thing. Whereas the GameCube, since it had the smaller disc, it could only be used for the games. You couldn't really do anything else with it. And even though I think it had the capability of online play, there weren't that many games that supported it, if I'm not mistaken. Because I know Xbox was huge with that because of Halo. Um, so the Wii really helped put Nintendo back on the map because of its versatility. It had regular sized discs. I don't know if you could play movies or anything, but it was also backwards compatible with the GameCube, so you can put like little GameCube discs into the
Yeah,
into the big Wii slot, and it would
that's
work.
fun. Yes.
So, but like, and also like the Wii was very like, because with the controller and like the motion with like the Joy-Con, I think that's what it was called, the joystick or whatever, and the actual Wii remote. It
Oh, the
was
nunchucks.
yeah, yes, thank you. It was the nunchucks. So I think the Joy-Con is what the Switch is called. Like their little
Interesting. Okay.
controller thingamabobs. But like, yeah, so like it really helped put the Wii back on the map because like, you could like dance and like in certain games you could like go fishing. Be very interactive, and it was like a lot of fun. And I think it was the most sold console. I think it beat out the PS3 and the 360, if I'm not mistaken, because it was cheap too. I remember the Wii being cheap, so that helped a lot.
Hmm.
And yeah, but
Interesting.
like, but once again, like it still lacked in terms of graphics, but it made up for the terms of just the types of games. Also, it came with games too. I think like it came with like Wii Sports or something, and
Yeah.
you can create your own little avatar as well, which was just like another thing. So it was like what Chad is saying. Nintendo was always family gaming. The gaming culture went a different way, but we capitalized on that. It's like, yeah, absolutely, because like at that time there was, like Call of Duty. Halo was still around. Um, and yeah, I'm trying to think. No, because like the Xbox 360 came out. I remember it came out early that generation. I think it was the first one to come out. But then they later released the Xbox 360 Connect, if I'm not mistaken. Because I remember the 360 was white, but I have a 360 which is black. I think the first like generation of the 360s were white, and like they kept failing, like they kept like breaking. Growing Seventh Day Adventist, like the Wii due to the fact that the consoles have more solo games. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. So it's like family friendly, so you can get that console. So I'm sure, like other families and other folks were like that as well. I was game nights at my church and played Wii Sports with church elders and kids. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah. Oof.
Because like
Sports.
what it helped with was like if you've never played a game in your life, it could actually get you into gaming because you're just moving your body. If you're trying to like play like baseball, I mean like over here, like you have the general concept of what holding a bat is, and then also you can like I remember like you had to like hold like the button on the back like to like throw a pitch, like I guess you wind it up and like you release. So you kind of have that idea with like with the Wii Sports with the tennis, because I think it also had like a bunch of different sports games, so everybody at least has an idea of how to play sports like golf, tennis, like what else? Baseball, bowling. Yeah, the bowling one was really really huge.
There's another boxing. That was the fifth one.
Oh right, boxing. Boxing was a lot
Tennis
of fun.
was by far my favorite. Tennis was just like so low. It was like low effort, but just so engaging, and it didn't feel like I was stuck in it. Like some others, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to get out of this baseball game. but with tennis, it was just so like, yeah, let's just play. Like tennis was really the goat, in my opinion, of the Wii Sports.
Right. No. And like it's true, like Nintendo I guess has always, like what I say for like family, I guess like it's sad to think that like togetherness is like family. Like it sort of reminds me of, in terms of like sitcoms, how like most sitcoms were just like back in like the 70s, 80s, and maybe even early 90s, it was like families, like you had like the Cosby Show. I know it's like the most controversial thing to say, but like there was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's still like a family sitcom in the house. I think it's like Married with Children, like just tons. But then it wasn't until like Seinfeld, they was just a group of friends living and just very slice of life, just going about their life and just very relatable concepts. Like I kind of I don't know, like I this is gonna sound like a weird ass comparison, but I feel like Nintendo is more so like Seinfeld, like where it's just like anyone could kind of watch it. It's just very relatable, but it's not like I can't really say that Nintendo is like yeah, Family Matters, step up, thank you. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't think of Family Matters. Day by Day. Yeah, like I would say that like I don't know, like I wouldn't categorize Nintendo as just like for family though, because I see why it is, but it's not just for family. Like I can't really like, that's why, because like because like if you go to like any college campus, if you go to like the room where there's like the big TV, if you like, because like like there was like the entertainment area or whatever, or like the social lifestyle kind of area, or like building or something, you'll see students playing Smash Brothers. Like that's what you're gonna see them playing. You're gonna see them playing Smash Bros. Like they're not really there playing Call of Duty because nobody wants to watch somebody play Call of Duty. like, and like nobody's really like doing multiplayer with Call of Duty. I mean, sometimes like Call of Duty Zombies, for example, was like very like, like together multiplayer. Friends
I
and
actually always heard Call of Duty being like whenever I see people play it in college, and I played a little, but I was just like, what's happening here? I always just thought people would play like I didn't think people would do campaign mode that much. It was like, yeah, people are playing like let's play COD, let's play COD. But you're right, the zombies was kind of the crazy blow up for multiplayer, and I played zombies a bit, and it was fun. It was fun. Um, and that was more though in the dorm rooms. I never saw
yeah,
that projected on the screen the way that let's
like,
say like Marvel versus Capcom,
mm-hmm.
I didn't play Mortal Kombat a lot at all, but Mortal Kombat was a big one. It's interesting because yeah, like Brawl and the family friendly ish games, even if they weren't always Nintendo. And Marvel vs. Capcom you can definitely find on Nintendo, just because Capcom and Nintendo are very very close, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, it is kind of interesting. And what Chad said about family friendly not equaling
yeah, no, absolutely.
same as only for family. So one thing I would say is I would think of like the big IPs: Metroid, Zelda, Mario. Now Mario is very family friendly, especially when you look at Mario Party, Mario Kart. I mean, there's a lot of games that are meant for like playing together. But then you have
Yeah,
games where it's like, are you playing your Legend of Zelda with family? Technically, I did once. That was a weird situation where I was controlling the I think it was the Wii, so I was controlling the joystick, the nunchuck, and my little cousin, she was from Nigeria, but they were in town. Like
yeah,
her sister, brother, or whoever it was, they were there for like the summer, some weeks. So we were playing Skyward Sword, and I was controlling the joystick, and she was controlling the main remote. But that's not
mm-hmm.
normal. Usually, like when you think of those games, those aren't necessarily like multiplayer type stuff, but they still are in a way not as dark, not as gritty, easy, a little more colorful. Well, Metroid can be kind of weird. I mean, Metroid's a great game. Like, I'm not shading
Mm-hmm.
it, but like that's not something I would recommend necessarily for kids. I got
Right, yeah,
scared even in high school playing some things in the darkness, or maybe middle school. But yeah, it is interesting that like Nintendo, even when you think of a lot of the solo adventure games, a lot of those IPs, that's still sort of seen as more family kid friendly. Um, versus like the really dark games you'll see um that I haven't even played most of them on like PlayStation especially.
mm-hmm. That was funny, Ender. Like how you and your cousin were playing, like, but you found a way to make it multiplayer, even though it's technically not. But you found a way to like have fun. Whereas like with Xbox and PlayStation, like they really like pigeonhole themselves into essentially the same thing. Like I haven't really been keeping up with like this generation, like PS5 and Xbox's name is so weird because it's like Xbox Series S
Mm.
and Xbox Series X, but like the Xbox One had like a 1S and a 1 like it had like similar naming, I think, or like it was I don't know, I just remember like there was I don't know, like the Xbox could have just went with instead of Xbox One, they could have had like Xbox 720, or like they could have continued with that. I mean, of course, they're not going to go up to like Xbox 1080. I mean, 1080 would have been a dope.
1080 was actually a name I was just thinking of. That would have been
Yeah, I
kind of
was like
cool.
that's. I was like, what's after 720 plus three? Oh yeah, it's 1080. That's a dope. That's a dope console name. Xbox 1080. Hell yeah. I want like that weird ass name, like series, like. And I just haven't really been hearing. I mean, granted, I'm not really like ears to the streets following gaming as much as I, used to like 10, 15 years ago. S
Mm.
is a little X is the full power disc one. Okay, gotcha. Because I know the PS5, PS, PlayStation. I've always felt like was pretty smart with their naming. They kind of just continued.
Mm. Yeah.
I do like how Nintendo always changes their name. Like none of their consoles have ever, had like a number, or like the closest was probably Nintendo to Super Nintendo, but that's still debatable. Well, actually, in Japan, I think it was Famicom, and then
Mm.
then Super Famicom, I think. But
Oh, that's what. Okay.
yeah, uh, we're more so focused on performance and fun and innovate. Yeah, exactly. They weren't really like. It's kind of like they knew what to do, so they just kind of kept iterating on that. Like
I was just.
PlayStation is like the definition of if it's not broken, don't fix it. Well, like, especially with their
Mm.
controller. But they're they're still doing great. Like I consider buying a PS5 because it's actually not that expensive, and I hear like like the performance and everything and the graphics are fantastic. 1080 was a sick N60. I know 1080
Yeah,
was.
I thought of
Uh,
that too. I was like, when I
yeah,
heard 10A, I was like, yeah, it's already such a cool snowboarding game. Might as
yeah.
well name a console after it.
Cross his
Gameplay.
fingers for Super
Curse
Switch.
64. Oh my gosh. Yes, I played 64 way later in life on the virtual console. Um, Played so many N64 games. I had an N64, but like I played so many after the fact on the virtual console. Virtual console, I was definitely had me in a chokehold. So I remember playing Kirby because I was like, I want to play all these games. I didn't. F Zero would have been a fun one, but I never got to it. It's
Yeah,
like I
F
want to play
Zero
all the games.
solid.
Smash Bros. So I got some Kirby games. Um, I think I never played Mario Kart 64. That would have been like a fun origin type thing. Well, no, I think Super Nintendo was the first time they had Mario Kart, right?
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. I
Yeah,
don't think
but
they had.
64
Yeah,
was
they didn't have it
probably
in use.
more like, you know, and Zelda, they definitely got my money. Like whatever Zelda games I could find on the virtual console I played, Super whatever Adventure of Link, that weird 2D side scrolling game. Um the
Yeah. Apparently that was like a good game, but like the side scrolling was just very weird. Like that
Yeah,
from
it
what
was
I've heard.
very frustrating game, but once I like got into it, I got kind of far, but then I think I had to stop. Either I God forbid I died, or I just like life got in the way. But like I got pretty far. I got to the Great Temple where the Hyrule, the temple, the famous stage in Melee. That
Mm-hmm.
music is from
Yeah.
that game. That temple is from that game. And
Yeah.
so I got to that's like the final boss. And so I got there, but I never got all the way through it. And I was like super powered up. I had like all the cool moves. You could upstab, you could downstab. I was like, yeah, this is Smash Bros. This is where they got all the moves from. It's from this game. And Link to the Past, which is like your name is definitely the goat right now because Link to the Past is probably my favorite Zelda game of all time. And I played it. I played it in middle school, but I played it well after I played like Majora's Mask. What's the one I always played? Ocarina of
Over the
Time.
time. Yeah.
Even Twilight Princess, I played before. I think I played Link to the Past.
Mm-hmm.
So Link to the Past, I played Virtual Console. I was like, whoa, this game is really good. Like, what in the world? So, um, yeah. Anyways, I have my bias because Zelda was always one of my favorite series. But
Yeah. No, Zeldas are always just like absolutely phenomenal and perfect. Like I mean I still have to finish like I don't Breath of the Wild. Like
mm,
I've had it for so long. But like
heard
that's
it's
the thing
good.
about me and like Zelda games. I just tend to like never actually finish. Like I don't think. I'm trying to think of like if I ever really finished the Zelda game because I was like, did I finish Twilight Princess? Now it makes me
Mm,
like because I think you can get pretty much all the games on the Switch because of the um because I know that they have the like their system apps or whatever, but I know you have to kind of like pay for some of them.
mm.
Like, is it called Virtual Console? Like, I don't think so. I don't know. No.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I haven't
Yeah.
kept up with anything after the Wii, so I don't remember
Okay, because I
what.
know like
But I heard they were shutting down like something. Actually, it was actually really sad. Like Nintendo may have already shut down like their virtual console in some way,
hmm
or at least what they used to have. Like they had like a subscription service, and I feel like they changed or radically changed or shut down or stopped some support. I remember hearing about that a few years ago when I was looking into it, because I was like, maybe I should buy a Switch just to like finally get to play some games. and
Hmm.
then they were like, wait, you can't even like apparently like whatever you have is good, but you wouldn't be able to buy new games from the virtual console. I don't know, something strange. Um,
Yeah.
that's like, don't do that, guys. Tears of the Kingdom, is that the name of the new game? I
That's
can't
the
keep up.
newest one. That's like the sequel to Breath of the Wild.
Mm.
I've heard like Tears of the Kingdom is like much better. So that's
Yeah, I
cool.
heard something about like that could be like easily the best game or something big, but I've just fallen off pretty heavily when it comes to a lot of it. So I'm like, dang, maybe one day I have to like.
Like sometimes I think about just like playing like at work because like that's the cool thing about the Switch. Like you just bring it, you know.
Mm,
And
that's
like
true. That's interesting.
yeah, like that's the thing I love about because it's the full console. Like I like I be like geeking out to my boyfriend all the time, just about like how freaking genius this console
Mm,
is. Like, because I think it's just so perfect, especially for today. Because I know that Nintendo is always trying to resolve the issue of like the whole being alone together, where it's
mm,
like, it's like a bunch of people hanging out, but they're all looking at their phones. So they're not really like engaging with one another.
yeah.
They were trying to sort of do that with like the Wii U, but I think they really truly perfected it with the Switch because of, like the Switch, it comes with two controllers. Like each
Mhm.
Joy-Con is a controller in and of itself. And I think it like sometimes you can buy the Switch and you can get like the code to download a game. So I was able to get like Mario Kart like
Mm,
when I bought it back in like 2017, 2018 or whatever. And like it's just cool that, it has like a little stand so you can like bring it anywhere and play with somebody anywhere. Like it's touchscreen, which so you can, that's like another thing. Like I downloaded like a free game, like a free like little puzzle game when was trying to like kind of get myself back into gaming because I'm like, I don't really want to play a game where I have to think a whole bunch. So let me just download like this puzzle game, and it was free, and it's just like a lot of fun, and you could just touch the screen and stuff. So like, it kind of incorporated cell phone gaming if you think about it with the touchscreen capabilities,
Mm.
like portability, but being able to play with somebody, and it's just and not having to take up the television that you may have to,
mm.
share with, like your
Game changer.
family. So if you're like, if you only have like one TV, like I only have one TV in my home, but which, well, there's only one person who lives here. But, like I can imagine like, like a smaller family or like a family that doesn't have much money or, you buy this $300 console and essentially comes with a TV because you can get
Mhm.
Hulu on it.
Mm,
It's like, yeah, it's a little tiny thingamabob, but like kids that are like, no matter what age, like I've played on the little screen at like somebody brought it at work, and I
mm,
played it like at lunch on the little screen, and you're still having a good time. So like
yeah.
that's so it's like literally everything just packaged up and given to you, and this was made in like 2017. Like that's
What was the game that you were saying? This puzzle game that you said
it's
was
called
free and you
it's called Color Zen,
okay.
I think. Yeah, like I was just searching like the Nintendo eShop. I was like, what is free? Because I don't really feel like spending money. And like, what is and like something that's just kind of mindless, but it's fun. Like it's a good like brain teaser, and like when you actually solve the little puzzles, like it's just like so rewarding, and you kind of just want to keep playing because it's just like I gave it to like like my boyfriend was over. I just like handed it to him. I was like, "Hey, this is how you play the game." He was like, "Okay," and he was just like sitting there in the corner just playing the game. Like, and I was
I
like,
don't know.
it was fun. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like your wife is just watching TV, but like y'all are together. You know. You probably like can hear like Gilmore Girls or whatever. Like she can just talk to you and chime in, and you could just kind of pause and be like, "Yeah, what's up?" I feel like it's just different than like your cell phone, because like your cell phone can be tied to so many different things, like work,
Mm.
like communicating with like other people, like other real human beings, and sometimes you just don't want to be doing that. So it's just really awesome that you could just like, it just feels like less intrusive, because like when you're on your cell phone, like you're more than likely engaging with people in some fashion. Whether it's like social media, like you're looking at somebody's pictures or like their posts or whatever. You're looking at TikTok, they're talking to you about some crap, and you're just kind of sucked in. Whereas like with like a video game, especially when it's handheld, it just doesn't seem as like serious. Like you still kind of seem part of it, and it's not as like hurtful to like bring somebody into it. Whereas like with like
Mm.
a, I don't know, when you're on Instagram or TikTok, like yeah, you might be like watching a video, like you watch it and then but you have to like kind of confirm that it's good enough to show like the person next to you. Whereas like a game, like you could just like, hey, if you want to come play, you can. If not, it's whatever. I don't know. I can go on and on about this, like just how just ingenious the Switch is.
Yeah, no, I think it is interesting because I haven't played video games really in a while, and so it's actually interesting. I think about like just the nature of gaming, especially like when you're older. I mean, gaming is such a loaded term, but like just playing games and being able to share games. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's always like one of those things where I'm like, do I want to? Because yeah, you're right with videos. I mean, you get down the rabbit hole, or it's like, do you want to watch this thing? Or people send you the meme. Sorry, I'm very guilty. Gil, Ella, everyone who sent me anything, I will one day, hopefully before 2025 comes around, watch these videos that y'all send me. But with a video game, I feel like you can kind of in the moment be like, let's play this game together. And I don't know, like there, even if there's a reluctance of I don't know if I want to play, you do it, and it's such an engaging and interactive, and it just seems to use a different part of the brain. I have to look up research on it, but I would bet money that it's just like different in the way it engages you versus yeah, you can definitely watch memes with a friend or watch videos. I think like if you're doing something like maybe watching a series or something that's a bit more immersive, like I was showing my brother because we watched epic rap battles of history a
Mm-hmm.
while ago, but we kind of separately either stopped watching or whatever. But I re got into it end of last year, so I was like showing him sometime maybe in January or February of this year. I was like, "Yo, you got to watch these," and so. But that's even different than just like let's just kind of have here's the random Instagram reel or the random thing, which yeah you can do, but I feel like there's something much more immersive if we're gonna watch a specific show or something that's kind of interactive, like maybe a YouTube series or something that like you feel like I don't know, like you're both or even like physical games, like having a game night, right? Um, and video games kind of takes the best of like the game night experience and like the TV watching experience, and the handheld piece of it is interesting for sure. That one I guess I have a little less experience with as an adult because me and my brother shared a Game Boy Advance, and then Game Boy Color, then Game Boy Advance SP. With that SP,
Mm-hmm.
that thing, we got some mileage out of that SP. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
never like I could never play the Game Boy Advance. I was like, yo, how do you all play this thing with no lights? SP has the light. It was a good time,
Yeah,
and
no,
that
we
was
were
something we shared.
struggling.
Yeah, it was a bit of a struggle, but but we did it. We had some fun with it, but like you know, and then we had the actual Wii. Like we always would share console systems, and then he got a PlayStation, and then we played Naruto, which is how I got into Naruto was by playing Ninja Storm. Well, that was actually in college, my first semester, and then my brother got it as well. So then we bonded over that. So there are definitely certain things that like the bonding is definitely unmatched. Like not that you can't bond over reels and like random Instagram videos or whatever, but what's the I don't know. It's very different. Um, it's very different. Like video games are just like another class. Like YouTube videos and series are good too, and I have had a lot of love with those. But like, my good, yeah, the video game thing, even as you get older, there's a fun bond and a fun pick back up, I would say. Like, there's friends who I probably could like play games with, who I haven't been as close with recently, and it would be like that, like old times. And a good way of sort of picking back up where things left off, I feel like. And then if you want to take your little break, you let the people keep playing their games, and it's fine. You kind of swap out anyway, especially if there's not enough room. It kind of is normal to swap out. Now, if someone's trying to show you videos, you're like, I'm good. I mean, I'm not that. I'm sure people won't take it super seriously, but it's like, okay, you kind of. I got a distance, but with games, I feel like it's normal to kind of tap out, tag out, and then they keep playing. Like, you could keep watching your videos or whatever, but you got if the experience is centered around you showing them something and they're not part of it, it's like But with the video game, it's like, all right, bet I'm gonna keep playing. Because you kind of just keep going. Unless if it's like a story mode, that might be a little different. But if you're just playing multiplayer, like just playing a little fun stuff, then I mean, I don't know. I feel like like kind of like I can keep going, but I have more of a sentiment and idea than a coherent explanation. But I think a lot of us get the vibe of what's special about it. Gameplay, and even if I don't partake as much, really ever these days. Link in the bio.
20% is a lot. We'll see. We can't do that for y'all, guys. We can't give y'all 20% off.
Gil, not a shot. Oh no, Super Nintendo. Oh, oh no, Gil's gonna die, yo.
I know, right?
That's not boy. Because I mean, Toby, you started mentioning like a lot of the Game Boy, the handheld ones, like the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance SP. A lot of those I've owned and put in some mileage, especially on the Game Boy SP. Metroid Fusion, yes. If anybody knows Metroid Fusion, yes, did that one. And then Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories when it came out on the Game Boy Advance. Oh, I put in a lot of work on that one. Yes,
that was such a good game.
It was. Yeah, it still is.
Yeah,
still is. I mean, I remember being on school night playing up until like 3-4 o'clock in the morning with my head underneath the covers, but I still had the backlight on and with the volume down, so couldn't nobody.
Hey, hello. Good to see you.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, it don't get me started on the Pokemon games too. That I was playing on my Game Boy Advance SP. Like, yeah, put in work.
Yeah. And we said Metroid Fusion. So my cousins would have these games for Game Boy Advance SP, and me and my brother would borrow them, maybe indefinitely for some time. But Metroid Fusion was a game they always had available, and I would play it, and I'd be like, I'm sick of this game. Like, a game that I actually really loved that my brother got from a friend of his back when we were in elementary school. Like, he was in middle school. I was entering middle school, but it was Metroid Zero Mission. That game I really loved. But then Fusion, I kept getting at my cousins. I was like, I need to stop playing Fusion. I'm tired of this game. But then at some point when I got older, like close to high school, or maybe in high school, I actually went back and played it, and I was like, this is actually like really good. Like, I kind of hated like, yeah, you lose your suit and like all this stuff, and it's just like, what? This is so weird. But then I played it, and I was like, no, I actually want to really beat this and get everything and explore everything. I don't know if we really got everything, because if you miss certain sections, you can't go back in those sections to get whatever like power up. But like, I remember like, yo, this game, and it's like the latest timeline wise, which is also interesting. At the time, it was like the last game in the timeline. Now with like Metroid Dread and some other games, I know that's gotten blown up, but I thought that was interesting that like the canonness of it. But I kind of stopped. I fell off Metroid too, but no, like Fusion, that was a huge one. Like, I played and replayed that game, and I was sick of it. But then when I went back and played, I was like, no, this is kind of a masterpiece, actually. Crystal, yeah, I played Crystal after Ruby, So I played like Red, Yellow Special Pikachu Edition. Then I played Ruby. Then at some point I got Crystal from a friend, and then I just ended up keeping it. And I was like, Crystal, this game is really good. Like, this is a really good game because I never played like the Kanto region, or sorry, Johto actually. I never played the Johto region. I just kind of skipped over it, but I remember it from like television, Pokemon Johto. So playing it, I was like, oh, this is actually really cool. Start in Johto, then you get to take the train back to Kanto, which is like the original Pokemon. And I was just like, wow. Even though it wasn't like a marvelous game in terms of like, there's no step up in terms of graphics. It's the same thing as like Red. It's not like Ruby, right? Because it's still Game Boy. It's still a Game Boy Color game. But I was like, no, this is actually really good. Like, there's just so much to the game that was like very clever, I thought. And I was like, I could keep playing this game like forever. So Crystal for me, I mean, I don't know if we even have it anymore, if it's lost forever. But that's a fun game I would go back and play. I never played was it Gold and Silver? It was always Crystal that I played. So I was happy to have gotten that experience from Gen 2. Because Lord knows I've not played a single thing up for Gen 3. And I have Ruby, Diamond and Pearl I would like to play. After that, I don't know if I want to. I don't think I can get into any of it anymore. Black and White, I've heard people said it was kind of fun. X and Y was kind of fun, I heard, but I just don't think I can do it. Don't say it, Toby. Oh, not another Nintendo. No.
Yep, I already put one in there. I got GameCube. Oh, yes. Metroid Prime. Anybody's a Prime fan?
Yeah, Prime.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my brother had that because like that was for, I think that was for GameCube, right? Metroid Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like the consoles were mainly like for my brother, but like it was kind of like, yeah, I would always play with him. Like Soul Calibur 2 was a big one. What else for GameCube? Like we played the hell out of Soul Calibur 2. That's like when
my gosh. Like my brother abused that game.
Yeah. Like,
don't forget for anybody, what was it? Super Smash Brothers Melee.
Melee, yeah.
Brawl?
For GameCube, it was Melee.
Melee. Yeah. Oof. That's yeah. Those people went hard.
Oh yeah.
Be careful who you play that game with.
I think that
Brawl's like more fun and friendly. Melee, people do too much.
Yeah, like I think Melee was like the game that released with the GameCube, if I'm not mistaken. Like it was, because you release a console and like a couple of games, like one or two with it. So like I think Melee was one of the games. So like I think that's what like kind of like why everybody had it. Or like everybody was playing it. But yeah, no, like we went hard with Melee. Like we went hard. Because I remember like the original Smash Brothers for the N64, that came out like kind of late in the N64's like generation. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe like they didn't even want like they had the idea for the game, but I think Nintendo wanted it for the GameCube for whatever like the next generation was going to be, but I think they ended up releasing it for the N64 or whatever because I don't know. But like if you remember, like it didn't have much. I think it had 8 to 10 characters. Like you can like unlock 4 characters, and it only had like 8 or 10 stages. Like it was really, really small. But I don't know. We played the hell out of that game, and then we went to Melee, and then Melee was just amazing. Like people will still argue that that's the best Smash Brothers. Like, I don't know. Yeah, like I like Ultimate though. Like I'd say I think like they kind of perfected pretty much everything in Ultimate, but there's still some stuff that I'm not too crazy about with Ultimate though. But Melee, I would say, like I mean like I like Brawl. Like I'll play any of them, of course, but I would say for me it's like Ultimate, then Melee, then Brawl. I've only played the one for Wii U for like a second. I never owned a Wii U.
Smash 4, yeah. whatever that fake name was. Yeah, I played that game a lot with friends who owned Wii U's, and I was like, this is so crazy because Smash was like me and my brother really played Smash, and so when like Ultimate finally came out and such a big gap between Brawl and Ultimate, at least it felt like it. It was like we have to play this. But with Brawl, I followed Brawl heavily. Like I would follow the updates every time on the website, which would low key be kind of spoilers for new characters and stuff.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I followed that heavily, and they made it a whole journey where like they I feel like they really like not I don't say dragged out, but they made it a whole thing with like Brawl and the excitement around Brawl. And I got into Smash with Melee, but that's because my cousins would basically whoop our butt. So we would be at their house. They would have a GameCube and they would whoop our butt. So at some point we got into N64, me and my brother, and we would play the original Smash Bros. And we would practice. We would like play every character and be like, we would do this thing where we would like do 99 lives. So it would be like me and him tag
Mhm.
teaming against two others, or even 1 versus 3. We would basically play like 99. Yeah,
Mm.
usually I think it was 1 versus 3. So we play every character, do 99 lives for all of us, and just like try to survive. Now we might not actually finish, so we would have to like stop where we were and like set the counter the next time we play, so that we all have the respective lines, the three CPUs and me, or if it was me and my brother, whatever. We would do that so we could get better because we were like, we're not gonna get whooped anymore. And then but at that point, I think my cousins stopped playing Smash as much. And then we got a GameCube. So when we got a GameCube, then we got Melee for ourselves. I think we borrowed our cousins or we just got it. And at that point, I don't remember if they really played it as much. So then eventually we played Brawl. We got Brawl. Fast forward to 2008. We actually got a Wii in 2008 earlier, maybe like a month or two before Brawl came out. But we made it. We were basically pledged to not get any video games until Brawl came out. And it felt like the longest month or two of our lives because we had Metroid Prime. My brother was into Metroid, so he wanted Prime 3. I wanted Twilight Princess. And we both, I guess, could have gotten Mario. But like I was like, we can't do this, not yet, not yet. We have to wait until Brawl. So we waited until Brawl, and then finally, so we played at Wii Sports on ad nauseum. Like I think even tennis, I was like, I can't do this anymore. And finally, Brawl came out, and then we got Brawl, and then we were like, we're gonna whoop our cousins' butts, and we did, but it wasn't really that fun anymore because they weren't even playing the games as much. They're older than us. Well, the youngest is my brother's age, and then the next guy cousin is 2 years older than him. So I feel like they were in different places. But I just remember playing Smash and like it was a whole thing. And Brawl, we played the heck out of that game, the first player and everything. But then at some point, it just kind of like by the time the new Smash came out and the Wii U came out, I was in college and it was just difficult. Like I still thankfully was good enough that I could usually still win, but I was like, this is a whole different game. Like
Mhm.
you can pay 8 people at once. What the heck is this? So me and my
Yeah.
brother were like the best at Smash. So usually what would happen is it wouldn't be teams, but people would gang up on us because they knew we were the best, and we would still win. And then we just would fight each other. Like me and my high school friends or college friends or whoever when we would play. But it was not like a regular thing. Like I would play when I could play it, and then eventually like now I'm like completely out the loop. Like I know how to play the game, it's muscle memory, but it's just like, there's too many changes and too many characters and just nonsense that I'm just like, I'll play it, but I feel like I'm just so disconnected. Um, but anyway, I had to get on my little Smash Bros. Rant.
Mhm.
Brawl physics are trash. Listen, Brawl will still be my game. I think for me that was the game I put the most into. Um, Even if there were some downgrades from Melee for sure. So if he's on Switch.
Now Mario
Mario
Kart
Kart's
is
always
fun. Yeah, like
Yes.
I feel like this new Mario. I guess it's like I just haven't really been like playing Mario Kart, like. But I feel like this new Mario Kart. I think we're still on Mario Kart 8. I think they're just, like they just update everything online, which I like.
Mhm.
But it's hard. Like I think I just need to
Mhm.
like play it consistently because like it's I don't know, it's like it's just different now. It's like why is this hard? Like why is the computer winning? This is weird. Like I'm not even just saying if I'm just playing it by myself. I'm saying like with friends, like people who play this game, like veterans who play Mario Kart like every day or like have kids play Mario Kart, the computer is like winning when you go to like the 150, 200 class sort of thing. It's, I don't know, like it's a different time. Like I don't feel comfortable when the computer wins. Like y'all shouldn't be good. Like, I always wanted to live. I went to college and I got. Yeah, no, college will humble you.
Oh yeah. Oh god. Brawl tournaments.
Yes.
Like I'm good. Like I'm very good, but no, like yeah, like there's like people definitely like just like on a whole other level. Like it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
To Tor's comments, I said and acknowledge them. I that brought back a huge memory of like those graphing calculator games. Like whoa, actually, technically the first games I played, even before that, I remember my dad had like a cell phone. Well, there's the graphing calculator games. There's my dad's cell phone. Like he had some Motorola, and I remember there were games like Snake, and there was this like weird game system. I don't even know if I can find it because I don't know what it was, but it came with certain games um that I don't even know, like that handheld thing that just triggered another memory. But I do remember there were some like unconventional games that I played when I was really young that I'm like, whoa, these were the first games we kind of played. Lion King on Game Boy Color was probably the first game I actually ever played in my life. But just so random. Like I don't know where it came from. I don't know where the Game Boy came from. I don't know where the game came from. But I just remember we were playing Lion King and I was like, okay, we're doing this. I still remember the music stuck in my head. Gosh. So it is interesting, those text games and some other games. I mean, Lion King was a real game on a real system, but like, yeah, I do remember those graphing calculator games as well as the Motorola phone games from a long time ago. Goodness, um, it's a whole nother thing. And I don't want to get too much into the Flash games because that is another rabbit hole. But that was probably actually where I put most of my time and spent way too much time on point and click games, especially, or certain other games me and my brother would play, like Matrix Bullet Time Fighting or whatever it's called, with the slow motion and stick figure games and Zhao Zhao, which is more of like a web series than a game. But goodness gracious, like I'll share some of this in the Discord because I'm not even sure how many people know about these things. Like, not that it's not like it's that obscure, but like I feel like I didn't talk to friends about Mo Fun Zone and Newgrounds and all these games, but like that was a huge thing. And we would always get in trouble, or we were told not to do it because it would mess up our computer, get slow the desktop. And I'm pretty sure my dad was right, but that's just the price that we had to pay for the goodness of Flash games. Getting viruses, the Engage. I don't know Engage if that's the thing. I'll have to look up what this random handheld thing I had was.
I remember the Engage. I remember the Engage. The crazy. I want to say when T-Mobile was slowly going to like regular phones to more so the early editions of the smartphones. Engage was kind of in that middle period. And I was like, man, I would love to have one, but the price of that bad boy was way too much. I'm like, nah, can't do it, can't get it. But it looked very much nice. Looked very nice.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have to look it up and kind of confirm what it was. And I know, so RuneScape, I remember my brother was playing that a bit. We would go to the public library in high school, middle school, high school. Excuse me. And that was a big thing, I remember. But I'm going to start dropping in the YouTube, I guess in the comments, like since y'all are actually commenting, I do appreciate you, Ellen Ron, for engaging there because there's some that I might need to put in to see if I'm crazy or if anyone knows what the heck I'm talking about.
What do you mean?
Ah.
What do you mean, Toby?
Oh no, there's like some games that like I want to list out too, like
Oh, like the
in
kinds of
terms
games
of,
that, like the genre of games.
or like specific ones that like were really um oops, oh there's the live stream. There's some specific ones that I feel like I played a lot, like this
Mm-hmm.
N Ninja game. Like these are flash games, I should say.
Mm.
Um N was fun. You just kind of like run on walls, and there are all these things you have to avoid, like spikes, bombs, sometimes rockets, lasers, like snipers. But you're basically like a stick figure running and just going through different levels, trying to get to like the end goal, and you have to do all these crazy like free fall ins, and you if you fall too hard and fall on the ground, you'll die. But you can like go on certain ramps and bouncies, and it was a fun game. Um, there were some other games, Dungeon Escape, these freaking flash games, man. Point and click mostly. Point and click and platforms. Those were like my favorite flash games to play. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, uh,
I did want to, I guess.
yes, Tor. Yes.
Uh, uh,
Yes.
oh
Favorite.
yeah, like same here. Well, I wasn't yelling at my mom. My mom would be yelling at me to get off the internet so she can use the phone.
Mm-hmm.
I love those days when, because like before you had to like ask, like, oh man, I gotta go on the internet, or I want to go on the internet. So like nobody used the phone, but like it was always kind of nice when like you just be on the internet just kind of randomly in the day for like an hour, and you want like, because sometimes like a call will come through and you might get kicked off, or like a no call can go through because you're on the internet, but then like you'd get off, and then I guess you would like star 69 or something, because I think you can still see, or like, and then or like figure out when the last person called, or maybe it was like star 67 or something. Um, and it'd be like, oh, the person last called like before you got online or something like that. I think there was like a way to
Mm-hmm.
figure it out. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
yes. So like I didn't miss anything. No important phone calls. Nothing. uh, that was nice playing like Neopets or something. Just those like online games.
Yeah.
which
Neopets. Let's
Gil just
see.
mentioned Maple Story, and I actually remember hearing about it, and someone in college my first semester mentioned it, and I remember she was like, "Yeah, it's so cute," and I was like, "Yeah, I don't know," but I remember hearing about it and guy online, and I would see ads for like all these type of games where you can customize your characters and blah blah blah. Like was it Uvu? There was like all these different games.
Mhm.
Where I do remember hearing about some of these, but I never got into any of those. Um, I'm thinking Bully is like, well, oh, I might not be thinking of Bull. I might be thinking of a different game. There was a game where you basically had to like cheat, and like it's like you're a dot, so you can't actually see the whole character, but you're like a dot, and you have to like basically copy answers and cheat, and that was like a whole thing. And there was like there were multiple versions of it. It got kind of intense. There was like a whole ring to it, and like possibly gang activity. But like you were in a classroom, your goal was to like avoid the teacher's gaze, walk to desks, and cheat. I might be realizing that might not be actually Bully. That might be a different game. But I have heard of Bully if it's a different one. Neopets.
I'm sure my Neopet's still alive. No, what happened? I think wasn't Neopets like bought out recently? Like like they were like recently in the news. Like
Really?
maybe like the past like year or two. Like something happened with them. I think they got like sold or bought out.
Mm.
Like something happened. Um I don't know. Or was it like NFTs? Yeah, okay. Neopets is moving into a new era and leaving NFTs and metaverse behind. Yeah, I think they did the NFT thing. I guess like they're leaving that now. This okay, but that was funny. Like I felt like it was sort of like coming. I was like, I'm pretty sure we're gonna hear about Neopets.
Yeah.
Like when the whole NFT thing was happening. Mm.
I mean, jeez, I think my Neopet is probably long gone in the abyss. So long, whoever it was, or whatever it was, gone in the abyss.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like a lot like a lot of the other games that I played on, especially on the computer-based games. Um, I know talked to Gil that my biggest one was Mu, MU.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how you pronounce it. That was pretty much like my introduction to like the MMO RPG games was that one, and I almost want to say there's one other one that I got into that I actually enjoyed, and I can't think for the life of me what it was, but it was something very similar, and I think I want to say back in 2015, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
um, Around, and I have found it, but it was on like mobile phone. I'm like, oh, I remember playing this as a kid. They got they have a mobile phone version of this one. I'm like, bet, and again, same concept. It was just more so, you know, for your mobile phone and whatnot. But my mobile phone was kind of like the cheaper version because it always got way too hot and the battery drained way too quickly. So like,
Mm.
yeah, can't do this one. If anybody knows what that game is, please help a brother out because I need it. I need it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'll definitely keep an ear out if I hear of anything like it.
Yeah, yeah. And then it was crazy because it all seemed like they all came out literally at the same time, probably within like either 6 months or a year apart from each other, which was like the biggest game changer in anything else. So I'm like, this ought to be nice. Didn't have a clan or anything, wasn't involved in the clan stuff, but it was one of those games that played a lot, a lot, especially when in those times where I didn't have like a gaming console, but I also had like a PC
Mm-hmm.
that between me and my brother we would take turns playing on, and it was fun. It was very fun, very fun.
Yeah. Man. I don't know if I'm sure I've told you all this story. I had to have. Like, how I got my Xbox 360.
Wait, you got an
Uh,
Xbox 360?
yeah, I have an Xbox 360. Uh,
What?
I never.
Come on, Seymour.
What? Oh, this is okay. No,
Story
this is a fun story. So, I was in college,
Mhm.
and like right before I think I started my sophomore year or whatever, like Macy's had like a commercial, like Macy's back to school, like sweepstakes or something, and it's like go to this site and fill out this form once a day every day for like 30 days and you'll get a chance to be like one of 30 people to win the new Xbox 360 Connect. And I was one of the 30 winners.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah, like it was crazy, and like you're supposed to, and like It was supposed to come with the game Connect Adventures, and I had to like fill out this, accept the win, and like send like fax like this information, and then like they mailed out the 360 to me. And it was like in college, and when I got the Connect, it came a day before the Connect actually came out, so it was like really cool. Yeah, and it's like I hook it up to our TV in our dorm, and trying out the Connect, figuring it out and stuff like that. I actually had purchased 2 games prior to when it came. I purchased BioShock and Mass Effect, and that's like how I got into Mass Effect. And so like the Connect, so like it came, I don't think it came with a game actually. I'm trying to think if it came with any games. Or it came with like Connect Sports. But it was supposed to come with like Connect Adventure. It was something weird. So like I remember like contacting somebody. I was like, "Hey, didn't it come with the game that it was supposed to come with, or blah blah blah, or something like that?" So they sent me Connect Adventures. So I was able to get both those games for free, Connect Sports and Connect Adventures. Like, so that was a lot of fun. And I also had, Mass Effect and BioShock, 2 games that I've absolutely fallen in love with. Like I played all the BioShock games, 1, 2, and Infinite. I played all 3 Mass Effects. I tried to play Andromeda, but that game was trash. Like,
Okay.
yeah, I tried to get through it because it was such a great concept, but is it like no, it's like action and adventure RPG. It's not really turn based. It's like, but you can choose in terms of conversation how you want the conversation to go, which is pretty cool. So you can like be really nice and kind, or just be like a total asshole. There are times when like you can actually like kill a character. Like there's like choices where, and it'll be like a super main character, and if you could choose to kill this character, and then that character will just not be in the series at all. So like that's, which is crazy. Like I didn't know that was actual. I was like, who would kill this character? But I guess some people did, just to see how the series would go. But you can port your decisions and like your character from 1, 2, and 3. So if you killed the character in 1, the character is not going to be in 2 or 3 for like if you choose to continue it that way. Yeah, BioShock was amazing. But like no, Mass Effect is probably like my all-time favorite like video game series. Like there are times when like I just kind of want to like replay it, but I don't know, like because it really hurt me that I couldn't, like my character design didn't port from, that I had from games 1 and 2 didn't port to 3. And like I couldn't really design my character to be like how she looked. Like for whatever reason, like I couldn't get her skin as dark, which is like a problem in and of itself. I was like, oh, okay. I was able to choose like a darker skin character, like darker skin tone in 1, port it over to 2 just fine. But 3 just had issues, so like it kind of, like I feel like until, like I'm sure they have, I just have to look into it. Like they do like a remastered of like all 3 games, for like maybe PS4, because I have a PS4. But if they have it for like PS5, or because I don't think that'll ever get to the Switch, even though the Switch does have the graphics capability to do so. Yeah, because I was looking for a 360. Then maybe I would get the series. But that's like if I know for a fact that like they remastered it and like took out everything, so that, and if they just, well, 3, I think 3 was good. It was just the ending was kind of like anticlimactic. But that's because like that's when EA really started to take over, and that's like the height of when EA was just absolute trash. I don't know how EA is now, but that was like when EA was just absolutely problematic, like within the company and like even, and it just really showed in its games.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Like,
But I was saying, go ahead, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say like that's like just goes to show like how a company can really affect its products and when it's ran horribly. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mass Effect 3 had a really bad
oh,
ending.
oh, let me get you. Oh, my bad.
Uh,
Say that again, Toby.
oh, yeah, I was saying, I heard that Mass Effect 3, like, it was like a meme in itself that the Mass Effect 3 ending, like, it was just something I always heard about. I never played any of the Mass Effect 3s, but I would see, like, a screenshot of, like, something in the sky or, like, either things falling down or aliens coming or, like, ships everywhere. And I never saw, like, a video of it, but I would just always see Mass Effect 3 ending. And it was, like, notoriously bad, apparently, where, like, I don't know. It was just like a thing, and I wasn't even always following. I followed some video game news, but I never played like anything outside of Nintendo much anyway. But I would know that Mass Effect 3's ending was bad, so I'm glad to hear that the series in itself, though, was still a very good series.
Yeah,
Um,
phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, it's still worth playing. Like I'm trying to remember, like the story of 3. It was just like the ending was problematic. Like the game itself, I think, was pretty fine. Like I just had the issue of like my character not porting over. Like I'm sure if my character ported over, I would have been fine. But that was just like, like a huge, turn off. Like especially at the very beginning where it just had this issue. And
yeah.
like my other friend who was also black, I'm sure his character was black. Had issues porting. I'm not saying it was like a race thing. It was just interesting because I just know that there was like a lot of characters, like a lot of people had this issue. Like that, like that's something that's just very bad because like you design this character, you put time into designing this character. That was one of like the biggest like draws to this franchise was like, oh, you can port your character over, into games, and then yeah, and then like the third one, the last one, the one that you're like all waiting for, it was like all this hype over the game for like so many, like for so long, and then that's such a huge ball to drop. But, yeah, and it's sad because like BioWare is like a solid like video game like like studio like producer. Like it's good. Yeah, I have 4
yep.
consoles. I have a because I know that Tora was saying I have all the games. Like I have 4. I have a PS2, PS4, 360, and a Switch.
Mm.
It's funny, like there was a time when Comcast came over because I was having issues with my internet, and this was years ago, and like they assumed I had like a son. I was like one of the. I was like, oh, I was like,
Wow.
yeah. I was like, for your son. I was like, yeah. I was like, what? It's like, what if I like? Why do you think I have a son? It's like, oh, because of all the gaming consoles. Like, no, that's mine.
Got
I mean,
him.
I must have been like a bad mom because at the time, like, there was literally nothing in this room. I mean, there's still nothing in this room. Like, there's just a bookshelf and this desk that you can't see, and there's like a piece of furniture over here, but that's nothing. But before it was like literally nothing was in this room. There might have been like a desk or something. I don't know. But so for me to be like, oh yeah, your son, I'm like, you would
It's nothing.
like you would have been calling like CPS on me if like, like son has no furniture. All right, probably just assume the son just lives in my room. It's like, yeah, I got a TV, a couch, a bunch of gaming consoles. But before buying furniture for my own kid, like,
Priorities. Oh,
I know.
Oh man, yeah, that's funny. That
priorities.com.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see, Tom Clancy. Oh, Ghost Recon. I have heard of that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Mist.
Oh,
Mist. No, but I've sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah,
Very big.
I've heard of Myst before. I'm not sure what it's about though.
Platforms, Switch. Oh, it's on a whole lot of platforms. It's on the Switch, Windows, PlayStation, Android, portable. What? What is this? Okay, let me look this. I'm gonna have to go on Wikipedia and do a deep dive. Oh, it's probably okay. It's first released in 1993 for Mac. Oh my God, Macintosh, the whole back when it was called that. This must be like multiple like whole franchise. Okay, I see. Yeah, I have to look more into that. But no, I hadn't. Oh, I remember. Oh my gosh, one last thing. I remember when I was in this was school, almost at church. It was Parkway Christian Academy. This is where I went to school when I was very young for 1 year. And I remember they had like computers, and there were times where after school, I mean, it wasn't a lot of times, but I remember a few times we would play games on the computers. This wasn't flash games, but like actual games. And I remember there was the original Mario Brothers. There was a game called Paperboy, and yeah, I just remember playing those. I mean, we were lucky if we got Mario, but sometimes it didn't really cooperate, so we would be stuck playing Paperboy, and I didn't know what I was doing. But I remember playing that, and that was like first grade for me. So I was like, only I got triggered only because when you mentioned Mist, and I looked up the year. I mean, 1993 was before my time, but it was still relatively close to when I like old games I remember playing way long ago. Just like random flashbacks of games that I do remember from like very early, just be consciousness. And then there's some older games that like I continued to play because I didn't buy any new games for my Game Boy Advance SP. So games like Lego Bionicle, there's some Lego Bionicle game, and I mostly just played it for like some of the multiplayer or mini games. I loved myself some mini games like Pokemon Stadium mini games, legendary Pokemon Stadium 2, even better. Lego Bionicle. I can't remember the name of the game, but some of those mini games I just love playing and replaying. And there was this game I can't remember the name of it, but a Game Boy Advance game, and I'll have to find it. But like it was like a card game, not Magic, definitely not Yu-Gi-Oh. This is like some kind of card game, and I don't usually play card game type games like that, but it was some card game. And I remember just playing a lot of the mini games and having fun with like these type of puzzle games. And I was like, oh my gosh, that for some reason sticks out. Even though that was technically probably like closer to high school, but still like this journey of games. Like I feel like I didn't play a ton of games, but I did really enjoy the ones that I did play. So that's my mic, I guess. Drop was a weird history from playing games in this church academy to then Lord knows what I was playing on my SP, and that's kind of where my history stops. At least because that's the game I really own. Like the SP and the mobile games, like we really could take that anywhere. Golden Sun. Oh, don't get me started on Golden Sun. I forgot about that. Breath of Fire even was fun, but Golden Sun 2, chef's kiss. And I don't play RPGs. I just never got into it. But Golden Sun, I will stand forever as like the best RPG. Probably not literally, but I just remember some of those games that lived with me, and like console games were fun for sure, but like those SP games, man, you could take that anywhere. Like, and then what you're saying about the Switch, it makes so much sense, L. But like for whatever reason, I just never got into it, and I think I was too late, like at that point, to keep up with it. But like handhelds are really undefeated. Like what? And it's sad that I bought a 3DS my junior year of college. I got it like in the winter, right the week before school started. So this was like 2015 January. School started, and this thing might not be open. Like I don't think I ever opened this 3DS. I bought a 3DS, for fun. I bought Majora's Mask, pre-ordered it actually, and if I pre-ordered it, do I even have the freaking game? Anyway, I pre-ordered the game, and I never played them. I never played the 3DS, never played the game. But I really did love the. Even though I have so many histories of the Flash games and console games, I really did like the SP and the mobility of it. It's just it folded over. Like, come on now.
Right.
Before the DS was a thing, come on now. Like, what? And so that might be some of my strongest memories, actually. Even though it wasn't as flashy and cinematic, it was just that very personal nature. I could lie in bed. Me and my brother would like play, or we would like, we had a bunk bed, so I might hand it up to him through the crack. That's what we would call it, as the crack. And we were, little kids, so
Right.
it was kind of also immature. But like we would hand up through the crack, or he would hand it down to me. We would definitely ruin our eyes. That's probably why we both wear glasses. Because we would be playing the Game Boy. Even before the SP, we would play the regular Game Boy Advance or Game Boy Color, as if that made any sense to do at night. But whatever. As like a 6 or 8 year old. But I think I have like more intimate memories in some ways of that, because you could play it around the clock. Versus the console games that you had to share with the TV, like you were saying, L, and lots of church networks that we would have to stop playing so that our parents could watch, or like my sisters would want to watch Gilmore Girls or like Pride and Prejudice, and I would always hate these things. But once I got older, I can appreciate a good Sound of Music and Pride and Prejudice and Gilmore Girls. But back then, I could not, because I was like, y'all aren't gonna take away my video games for this garbage. Though I actually liked Sound of Music, and I liked Gilmore Girls. I did not like Pride and Prejudice, but now I do, the 6 series one. But anyway, now I drop my mic. Video games are great. Portable is undefeated. And having your own TV is also even more undefeated if you're
Right.
bougie like that, or you live by yourself.
Uh, yeah. Like, it's just like it's just so wonderful to think just like how gaming has evolved and like uh, and just how it's just like like brings us together, how it just makes us like like we think back on these moments and it's just very humbling and just like pretty peaceful, and it's just like I really truly believe that like there's just nothing compared to just like playing with the people that you love. Like there's it's like just like when you think back on like playing GoldenEye on the N64, and it's just a phenomenal like multiplayer thing, and it wasn't like initially made for that because GoldenEye is usually like James Bond games are usually like first person shooters, just like one player. But they threw in the multiplayer concept because that was like the big thing at the time. And it just became like one of the best multiplayer and like most games, like one of the most memorable multiplayer games of all time, sort of thing. Like I don't know why we all had this game. I don't know like who was talking to who to be like, "Hey, yo, go get GoldenEye," you know. But we all had this game. We all played it. We all loved it, and like it's hard to think back on like growing up playing games and like not having a smile on your face, not yeah, some Perfect Dark, like, and like not like not thinking about it like in like like with a smile on your face, like playing like Super Mario Kart or any of the Mortal Kombat games, Killer Instinct. Yeah. Like,
Yes.
Never played, but I know it's popular.
right. Yeah, it's just like you think back and it's always just like good times, and that's like one of the things I just absolutely love about video games because that's what they're made for. They're made to make you, feel happy, and it's always better than when you play with a friend or or a loved one, family members. It's always like the thing, you play during the holidays when you just go into like one of your cousin's rooms and you start like, playing and just having a good time while like the adults are doing whatever adult things. Oh yeah, Star Fox.
Yes,
I was
yes.
just saying do a barrel roll like the other day to my boyfriend, like
Do a
playing the
barrel.
game. I was like, do a barrel roll.
Freaking Pepe. Pepe hair.
And if you Google do a barrel roll, Google will actually do a barrel roll.
Yeah. How about the little Easter egg?
Like that's how iconic and influential that is. Like somebody coded that into Google.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put in the 10 in the chat. There's like 10 N64 games that we had. Hopefully I can do this while we're wrapping up. I have like 4 of them. Lego Racer was on there. I don't want to spoil them all, but I'm like, these are the 10 games that me and my brother had, and it was just a good time. Like all the pain with the 64 and figuring out how to maneuver the stupid little coaxial cable or whatever. It was all worth it. Like when it could work. Oh my goodness. But I'm blanking because I didn't have GoldenEye. But I played it, but I didn't have it. I didn't have Mario Kart 64. I had Smash Bros 64, but there's quite a lot of games. The Donkey Kong 64, I never played that. I wish I had. That one would have been great for the virtual console, but I never got to it. The original Donkey Kong. Sorry, I had to say this one. I forgot, but I played not the original, that's the arcade game, but the one for Game Boy Color where it's like a platform game where you have like, I think there's like 8 or 9 different levels you have to go through, and you're playing as Mario. Donkey Kong keeps kidnapping Peach. You have to go through different levels and different puzzles. You kind of learn new skills and new things as you go through the levels, and you have to beat up Donkey Kong with the barrels. But in the final stage, the mushrooms make Donkey Kong grow into a giant Donkey Kong, and then you have to beat him. I remember playing that game when I was very young, and then like my first year in college, I like randomly found it on like a Flash website. On one Saturday, I was like, I want to play this game, and just like on instead of sleeping on a Friday night or going to a party, I just played Donkey Kong, slept a bit in the day, kept playing it. I think I beat it by the end of the weekend, so I had a bit of a problem. But I remember certain things would come like that to my memory, and I'm like, yo, I remember this game. I want to like replay it or find an emulator. And I wasn't hardcore like emulating games. I just would find it on websites that I could. Or if I had virtual console for real, then I would do that. But that was just a small like random thing I just remembered. But
yeah,
Drop the list because a lot of the games you probably got on there, I've either played it or had it at one point in time. Especially for the 64. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
I bet for sure.
And it's crazy because at one point in time we did have an original Nintendo system downstairs in the basement, which worked, and I want to say I had like 20 games for it. We brought it upstairs to the living room, and especially in the current house that we're in right now, brought it upstairs, and like a lot of the kids in the neighborhood, like, what is this? Like, oh, this is probably the game system either your mom, your dad had, or somebody had when they were growing up. And so we played Mario World 3 with Duck Hunt with the working gun that actually worked.
Hey.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. No, we did that when we were living in Colorado Springs. We did like a duck hunt tournament in Colorado Springs. So all my son's friends came over and we just had a blast. We brought that same system over here and pretty much did the same thing too as well, along with like I said, a bunch of other games. Sadly, the basement flooded and like all the games and the system got destroyed. The only one that actually made it was Monopoly for the original. That's the only one that survived. And so I'm like, you know what? I want to buy another Nintendo. Then the missus like, well, if you do that, you might as well go ahead and get a Super Nintendo too as well. I'm like, you know what? You got a point because there was a lot of games that I had for the Super Nintendo
Mm-hmm.
that I had back, like Mario Kart for the Super Nintendo. Yes, I had Doom, Killer Instinct for the Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Like the majority of the Super Mario games that came out for the Super Nintendo. Yes,
Mm.
yes, yes. Like
Oh shit.
instant. Yeah.
Bomberman. Oh my god, that
Yeah.
brings back memories. That was such a good game.
And I never
Bomberman
played
was
like the other
so solid.
Bombermans that were more traditional with the square, like the kind of square, like I guess the more traditional, like you actually had like square patterns. I really
Mm-hmm.
only played that one where the explosions were actually like dome shaped and circle like, because then I would see the real Bomberman where I'm like, oh, bombs are actually exploding in lines and weird
Mm-hmm.
crisscross patterns. So I feel like 64 was sort of like an experimental game, and that's like the only one I actually played. But um it was a fun game, very adventure like. You could do all these fun things with pumping bombs and creating bomb ladders and stairs and remote bombs, and
Right,
the boss
yeah.
battles were so fun. I love those boss battles, even though there's only like four main bosses or five, and then like five mini-ish bosses or something. But ton of fun. Like these monsters like Leviathan, and oh my gosh, I had so much fun with Bomberman 64. Sometimes I just go back and play just to replay those boss battles. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
man,
I
that
don't know
just
if I
brought me
remember the
back.
other two right now.
Because like Bomberman was like such a solid game. Like
Yeah.
there was one game like I was gonna put down Wave Race. Have y'all ever had that?
Wave Racer.
Yeah,
I think
but
was it Wave Racer? Like
Mhm.
Wave Racer. Like it was like the like you had like the jet skis. And you could like do tricks on the jet skis.
probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
a fun game.
Oh, of course, Pokemon Stadium
Oh
one and
yeah,
two. I think.
yeah.
Yeah, that
Pokemon.
might. Have, I think that was it. I think it was Pokemon Stadium one and two. They were both 64 games. I never got into Coliseum, but Pokemon Stadium wasn't a fan of the actual Pokemon battles as much. I mean, I could, but I feel like I just didn't want to go through it. But the mini games, I literally mentioned this before. How did I forget? One and two. Those mini games were undefeated.
Star
All right,
Fox. Never had Lego Race. I had Zelda Ocarina of Time, Super Smash Brothers. Not
I love
Clover.
Lego Racer.
Um, Super Mario
Clover was fun, but
64.
weird
Yeah.
game.
Mario Party. Yeah, I
I've
think I
had
had
that one.
about like 5 or 6 of that. Bomberman. Had Pokemon Stadium. I think we had one undefeated.
SSX
Yeah.
Tricky I played, but that was actually on GameCube, I think. And I borrowed that from a friend. I gosh, there's such fun tricks you could do in the air,
Mm-hmm.
breakdancing, doing the worm, all these like crazy tricks.
Yeah.
XXX Tricky, Rock to the Ride. That's actually the first time I heard that song, and I always think of that game. That's the only time I heard that song for the longest time until I was much older, like college age, and I was like, "Oh my god, this song!" Throwback
Mm-hmm.
to my childhood.
Right.
But I don't usually admit that because I feel like that's the song most people probably knew growing up, and I was like,
No,
"Oh,
I
it's a video
didn't.
game song."
That's when I first heard it. Was an SSX Tricky.
Okay, good. So it's not
Yeah.
just me.
Right. So, I think the snowboarding game. I might be wrong, but it might have been 1080 snowboarding.
Okay.
I'm wondering if it was that one,
There was
but
a
I feel like
yeah.
Twisted Edge rings a bell because it sounded like Twisted Metal, and I remember that
Mm-hmm.
connection. If I can find the music for it, I'll 100% know because the main music is stuck in my head. So if I can like find the music, I'll confirm it later in the Discord or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's see.
No, I'm
Water,
gonna
actually.
share my once I find it. I'm gonna share my Nintendo
Okay.
Switch ID
Mm.
in the Discord.
Okay. So that was a different snowboarding game that came out. Okay. No,
Yeah,
you're right, Toby. Good.
because
You're
I know of
good.
1080, and I know that's a really popular one, but I'm just not sure I've actually played it. I played Need for Speed, but I think that was GameCube. Um, I just remember that randomly Need for Speed Underground and a
Mm-hmm.
few other random games. But
Mm.
GameCube is a little different. I mostly borrowed games for GameCube, so most of those weren't even mine. And the 64 is much more personal because me and my brother owned those games. So like
Mm-hmm.
those, that's why I'm like, yo, we had 10 games, and then we kind of expanded. Or we would play like virtual console games or like GameCube games, like Sonic. We would play like the Sonic collection on GameCube and like the Zelda Mega Collection on GameCube. But we borrowed, I think, well, maybe both of those from our cousins. Um, but yeah, whew, good times because I would not have played Sonic game otherwise if not for that Mega Collection. That was a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fun. Um,
Yeah, Sonic
yeah,
games are
I'm
always
gonna
a
have to
lot of
go
fun.
through that. That's a different list, honestly. But a lot of classic games that I played on GameCube. I feel like that was another really like that was just such a fun thing. Like games like Sunshine, and there were some I played that were proper GameCube games, but like I really enjoyed playing certain older games that were like in collections. Um, and then Virtual Console when that became a thing, that was like sort of the way to get around some of that. But the one thing I'll end on is that the 64, I did have to like get a new cord because it was trash, like the connectors. So I like in college bought like a new one. So instead of having to like
Mm-hmm.
do this weird thing and change the channel 3 and 4, I was able. There was like a button, like a blue glowing button that you could press that would switch the channels, and it was a much simpler interface. Like you still had to, it still physically has to go to the coaxial cable, but it was just a much better, more modern connector.
Mhm.
And so I remember that's actually how I started replaying some of my 64 games, like in college, outside of the virtual console. I didn't bring it to college. I wouldn't dare. I didn't want that thing to get broken. But I would during breaks go home and like maybe even grad school. I feel like this was pretty late, like maybe 2015, 16. I was like, no, I want to fix up the 64 so we can actually play it again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to sort of either bring it here to I think we have a closet storage area where my brothers brought some games, but or I would just figure out some emulator or some I don't know what do the cool kids do to play old games. I'll figure it out and then relive some memory lane, especially like Star Fox 64. Don't get me on that because I'm not gonna stop.
Mm-hmm.
Like physically, don't get me start playing that because I won't stop playing it. All the different paths you can take and everything. No, I'm not gonna stop.
Yes.
You could play a
Yeah.
lot of the old games on the Switch, cause
Okay.
like
Hmm.
yeah, cause like I have like like I kind of mentioned it before, like the I forgot what it's called though, cause like it's like SNES collection, the NES collection, and then
Mm,
like but to get like the Game Boy Advance and I think N64 and things like that, there's like cause you pay like $20 a year for the Nintendo
yes.
Switch like online, like
Yes.
Hmm.
Oh,
like
yeah, that's really good.
yeah, it's very cheap. Like I didn't even know I was like paying it still. Like and usually I'm pretty on top of like what I'm paying for, but that's
So
how
makes sense,
little
yeah.
I noticed. but but like there's like another like higher level for like the online stuff. I think it's like maybe like $50 a year, so you can actually play like the GameCube, like maybe GameCube, but I know Game Boy Advance for sure. Because I was trying to play some Game Boy Advance games. Like I can play the SNES games and the NES games, and like
Hmm.
occasionally like they'll just add more games to it. But I guess for
Okay.
like when you go like higher up and like the yeah like get more recent, it's yeah I guess you have to pay more, which I'm considering. Like if I just have to pay like 50 or 60 bucks a year, that's not bad at all. But
Hmm.
Fair.
I'll continue looking into it. But yeah, unfortunately, think we should start wrapping up because it's. I know, I know,
Gotta
I
get some
know.
save. This is time for a checkpoint. This is time to save. We already know the
Yeah, we got.
vibes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's okay. This isn't the original Metroid game. This is Metroid Prime or Fusion or any game. We have save stations. We are not going to lose all our progress. We will be able to pick up back from here next week
right.
or two
Oh,
Well,
weeks,
after you
yeah,
get
or
Super Metroid.
the next step. Was that
yeah,
wrong?
I said Super Metroid had a save station. Either you had to go to find a ship or find a save station within the map.
right. Yeah,
Sadly,
like
still never played that game, but I watched Mish play a little bit, so I
yeah,
I want to go back and play it.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Resident Evil where you have to go like find a save station. Like it's
Love it.
but yeah, no, thank you all so much for joining us. Y'all have
Yeah.
been fantastic.
Absolutely.
But just like
Check me
Toby
some-
said, this this isn't just like a one shot type of game like Star Fox. You could you can
True. Yeah, like
like
Star Wars too.
yeah, like Star Fox 64, you can, join
I
us.
forgot it was a one shot.
Yeah. Like I don't
I
know
still
if
love that game so much, but yeah, you're
r-
right.
but yeah, definitely join us in the Discord. I put the link. It only shares to Twitch and YouTube. But yeah, definitely
Mhm.
join us. Join us on Discord. It looks like most of our views were from Twitter, so I'm thinking
Interesting.
I think it's just like if you scroll past it, it shows as like a view and it just kind of stays there. Not trying to, cause I like who like really watches videos on Twitter though.
Right.
Like
That is so weird that like it will count it here the same way that it does like on Twitter, where like it does show those sort of views where you
Mhm.
scroll past. But that
yeah,
isn't
that's what I'm assuming. It must be like some weird glitch. But even on Twitter itself, it's saying like, oh, there's 21 people viewing. I'm like, is there really? Unless like
that's
Twitter is doing something different. Like I know you can like have like a you know like like p like picture in picture sort of thing for
sure. Yeah.
so I don't know if like a lot of people are doing that. If so, thank you all so much.
Yeah, for
If
keeping
not, y'all wouldn't see this anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
it.
But for those of you who were watching, yeah, Twitter's view count is off. Yeah, that's true. That is very true. But for those of you who came through, which was a lot of you, and we love y'all and appreciate y'all, and those of you who
Yes.
are going to be watching this after, we love y'all and appreciate y'all as well. For all the lurkers out there, thank y'all so much for lurking, for joining us. Giving us a thumbs up, for liking and subscribing. Of course, please share. With your friends, your family, your loved ones, the people you'd play video games with. You know, definitely share it with those. And yeah, next stream will be a new month, so we'll have a new topic for you all. And enjoy life. Have a great night, y'all. And we'll see
Life.
y'all in 2 weeks. But of course, you can always chat with us in the Discord. Let us know if any like topic ideas you'd like us to go over. We'll be more than happy to do so. So with that, y'all, have a great night. Be safe, be merry, be joyous, and see y'all on the next stream.
See you all. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Love you.
Love you.